Okay, this could be anyone's life. And I'd like you just to have a look at this, have a think of where you are, and maybe this will enable you to move forward. This could be a diagrammatic representation of the energy and the personality structure, the whatever, of a child. And as I said, up to the age of about 10, there are no defenses. So this is pre-10. There are no defenses. And so every single thing that happens to this child is going to be absorbed. So if there's difficulties between mum and dad, if mum has postnatal depression, if little brother Johnny is born and this one gets pushed out, whatever, all of that will be absorbed. There is no way whatsoever of this child protecting themselves from that. So we get to teens then, and we start to develop defensives. After 10, you remember I said about this protective shield on the chakras? Now we have defenses, but whatever happened here is now going to be here. It hasn't been dealt with. It was all absorbed. There it is. If it was all sweetness and light, and if everything was fine, absolutely great, but the likelihood is it isn't. I'd like to stop and tell you a little story. I was teaching in Sydney some years ago, and I was talking about this and doing this diagram, and I said, but I don't know anybody who's had only sweetness and light. And a lady in the audience put her hand up and said, yeah, my childhood was all sweetness and light. And the man next to her said, I'm her fiancé, and I can tell you it wasn't. So anyway, this is rarely, if ever, all sweetness and light. So by the time we're in our 20s to 30s, what we do is we defend really, really heavily against the pain. This now, all of this stuff, is in here, and it's like an abscess that sometime has to burst. It's an abscess in our soul. And so sometime there's going to be a crisis. We don't like it when the crisis occurs, but actually the crisis is a great gift. When I said about my depression, it was a great gift. It burst all of this stuff that I had in here about my very early childhood, and it allowed it to come out. But this is what happens. Now we have a split, and all of this stuff comes hurtling out in a very difficult fashion. And often it's in childlike behaviour. So there's crying and tantrums and anger and fury and depression and loss and blame and all of that, and it feels terrible as all of this comes out. And because it feels so terrible, we of course try to do what we've always done and defend against it. And so with great energy we try to pull ourselves together, let it not show in the world, and sometimes we do this with medication. Sometimes we do it with alcohol. Sometimes we do it with drugs, prescribed or otherwise. Sometimes we do it by having an affair, by gambling, by whatever else. We use something to try to maintain this, but we still can't maintain it for very long. And so what happens is we go back to here. And this roundabout can go on for a very long time. From here to here and back again, again and again. Here, there's fierce independence, which is a little bit like it was here. Loads of defences. I'm absolutely fine. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. I don't need anything. Back to here, breaking apart. The only healthy way forward is to do this. We work with somebody, choose well. We work with somebody who will help us open the wound. And open the wound and gently, carefully take out all of this stuff that hurt you in the past. This could be called psychotherapy or counselling or whatever, ideally some kind of psychotherapy. And here, at the same time, if the person you choose is a healing person, you will get healing too. And the healing will fill this area behind the wound where otherwise it's raw. You might have a catharsis and you just have a raw place behind here that still bleeds, or you can have it healed as you go. And so there's catharsis and healing, and catharsis and healing. And that then produces a situation like this, which is a little bit like that. We still have defenses, which we need in the adult world. That's just fine. But now we deal with things, we really deal with what comes in, and we let it go. And we remain without all of the tension, the high defensiveness, which becomes offensive in the end. Here we have health. And this here is what might be called breakdown. And this is what I call breakthrough. And psychotherapy and healing convert breakdown to breakthrough. This is what I'm hoping that you'll find. There will be meditation at the end of each chakra section, so that you're going to have the healing as you go. The words will also be healing as you go. And there, we'll move on to the chakras in just a moment.